Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a severe weather outbreak that's going to be happening over parts of the Southeast and the Tennessee Valley. We're going to be going over where the heaviest impacts from this event could be. The main threat is actually going to be flash flooding over parts of Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas, and some of the surrounding areas as well. So we're going to be showing you how much rainfall you could be expecting, as well as when these storms will be arriving. They're actually already ongoing over parts of Texas and Oklahoma, and that's where the main severe weather is. Those are going to be spreading further to the north as we go through the day today. So here's what the current National Weather Service page looks like, and it is actually quite active over parts of the eastern United States. We'll go from west to east. We have some wind advisories and high wind warnings in the southwest, as well as for parts of Arizona and New Mexico. Some red flag warnings are in place. We already have severe thunderstorm watches in effect for parts of Arkansas and Oklahoma due to this severe weather event, and that's where the main severe weather is currently, and again, that's going to be spreading north and eastward throughout the day today. We have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up for parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the UP of Michigan. That's from yesterday's storm that we talked about, the storm that we talked about in yesterday's video. We have flood warnings, which range from parts of Indiana and Kentucky and a large swath all the way back through West Virginia. That's a very, very large area of flood warnings, and you have a few scattered flood warnings still for parts of Illinois, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, even back through Louisiana and Arkansas currently. And then we also have some flood watches in effect in that dark green, which covers much of the Tennessee Valley into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and back through into the Southeast. We also already have some flash flood warnings in effect in that dark red, and those are going to be continuing to expand as we go through the day today. So make sure you are staying up to date with the latest local information from your local National Weather Service page. So yesterday, we had a high temperature over the entire continental United States of 93 degrees in Rio Grande Village in Texas, 11 miles northwest of Clayton Lake, Maine. We had negative 13 degrees for your low temperature. And then the highest precipitation or rainfall report was in London, Kentucky, where they had rain all yesterday night. And that's going to be continuing into today and even into a little bit of early tomorrow. So really not a good situation over those areas in terms of the flooding. They got 2.58 inches of rainfall so far, and they're already adding on to that. The highest snowfall report yesterday was in Brundage ski area in Idaho. They got 22 inches of snowfall. That's in west central parts of Idaho and some of those higher elevations. And we have a lot more weather to talk about in today's video. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with your radar. We have a wider area in parts of the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Tennessee Valley of currently fairly strong rainfall, but not really too much in the way of convective activity. We're not dealing with a lot of thunder or lightning out of these events, but the thunder and lightning is back through here in Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma as well. This is the beginning of that line of storms, and you're actually already starting to see some of these storms popping up for parts of western Tennessee, eastern Arkansas. That's the start of that line of storms that's going to be moving all the way from Texas back through Kentucky and then heading southeastward. So it's going to start to form a line of storms, and those storms are going to be fairly heavy with a very, very heavy rainfall if you get stuck inside of that band of rainfall. And hopefully none of you guys do, because if you do get stuck in that band of rainfall for even just 45 minutes to an hour, then you already have some flooding concerns, unfortunately. We have a mesoscale discussion out from the Storm Prediction Center about this event already. They post these whenever there's a band of severe weather or severe storms, and they already have one up for today. They're probably going to issue a few more of these just today, maybe even into tomorrow morning. And they're saying that thunderstorms may become capable of producing isolated large hail and locally strong to damaging wind gusts later this morning. That's from the radar that we just showed you, where they had some heavy thunderstorms rolling throughout this area already. Here's what the Storm Prediction Center is showing in terms of the risks for today. So this is for today. We have a slight risk of severe weather, which even though a slight risk doesn't sound too dangerous, when they do put up the slight risk, it's fairly, that means that it's a fairly big event. They might even put up some area of an enhanced risk later today, so we'll have to continue to watch that. But they have a fairly big area of slight risk. They also have a 5% chance of tornado activity back through anywhere in this brown shaded area from Arkansas and Tennessee westward to about Texas and Oklahoma. And then we have a 5% chance of hail damage over parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, with a wider area of wind damage potential in that 15% chance area in the yellow that spans through the Tennessee Valley back through parts of the south central states. So that's for today. And then for tomorrow, it really starts to die down. We only have a general thunderstorm risk over many of these areas along the Gulf Coast and over parts of the south central and southeastern United States. So not too much of a big threat tomorrow. You will still maybe have a few isolated storms, but we're not really dealing with too much in the way of any issues as we go, or at least into the later part of tomorrow. The early part of tomorrow, you might still have a few thunderstorms rolling around. Now, here's what the simulated radar is from the NAM 3CAM model, which is a high-resolution model, really good at picking out these thunderstorms. So this is right about now, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time. We're dealing with more of those thunderstorms moving through Arkansas, Tennessee, into Kentucky. You can't see it on this image, but over Oklahoma and Texas, there's also still some severe weather going on. And then you can see that when you get into those reds, even the kind of darker purple shades that you're starting to kind of see on the screen right here over western Arkansas, when you get into those, that's where we have the potential for maybe an isolated tornado, EF0, EF1, maybe a couple EF2 tornadoes, unfortunately, and it's going to start to actually form a bit of a line. So you get further to the north into Kentucky and Missouri, this is where it's going to be more of a just flooding event. You're not really dealing with too much in the way of hail or tornadoes. Once you get further to the south, that's where the tornado and hail risk really increases, because we have more of a humid atmosphere to work with that will allow more of the hail and tornado activity to kind of spawn up. So this would be by right around 7 p.m. Tonight Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. We're dealing with, again, that very strong line of thunderstorms moving throughout parts of southern and central Kentucky, back through a little bit of Tennessee, Missouri, and even into the central part of Arkansas as well. Those are those gusty thunderstorms that we're going to be dealing with. You go to right around 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time, and we're still dealing with these thunderstorms. They have moved a little bit further east, but you're still under some of that rain on the backside of those thunderstorms. So you might get out of the heaviest rain, but it's that continual rainfall over some of these already flooded rivers in some of the areas surrounding the Ohio River or surrounding the Mississippi River. That's what's going to cause the flooding. Some of those rivers already in flood stage that are going to get some more rainfall on top of that, and that's really not a good situation with all that rain and all the flooding that could take place. This would be by right around 12 a.m. tomorrow morning, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, so that's 12 a.m. Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's switch it over to the southeast, and you can see the line isn't as severe as it's heading east of Knoxville, Tennessee. Once it gets about from Knoxville eastward, that's when it really starts to weaken out. As it starts to hit some of the higher elevations, that's going to really weaken the band of rainfall, but still it's dealing with some fairly heavy rainfall back through parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas. So definitely still something that you want to watch out for. You could still see some thunder or lightning. And then as you continue this forward, you can see that by 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Central Time, still dealing with those thunderstorms rolling throughout parts of the southeast. Fairly weak band of thunderstorms by this point, but still something that you want to watch out for on your morning commute, and even into your afternoon commute, you're still dealing with some pop-up thunder showers. So here's the rainfall forecast for this event. Under an inch of rainfall from today into Monday. Under an inch of rainfall, so any rainfall at all in this light green area. This is where I'm expecting 1 to 2 inches of rainfall from northeastern Texas all the way up to about Pennsylvania, and then another area from southeastern Pennsylvania all the way down to Maryland there. That's where we're dealing with over an inch of rainfall, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the dark green, and that's for parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, back through into parts of Oklahoma, a little bit of Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and into some parts of West Virginia, and then one more area for a little bit of Mississippi, Alabama, and southern Tennessee. Here's that 3 to 5 inch area, and you can see a couple localized areas that could get 3+ inches, and also that band of heavier rainfall back through central Kentucky into parts of southeastern Missouri. And I can't rule it out that some areas could be getting maybe locally 5 to 7 inches or more, unfortunately, but we can't really pinpoint exactly where that's going to be, because it's all going to be dependent on exactly where those thunderstorms set up. So I can't really pinpoint exactly where, but just know a few localized areas could be getting over 5 inches of rainfall out of this event. Here's the Weather Prediction Center's risk of flash flooding, and we have a moderate 20 to 50% risk for today over parts of West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and back through a little bit of Missouri and Arkansas there. So that's where we have a fairly good shot. Even if you're in that slight risk or even the marginal risk in that green and the yellow, that's where you still have a shot, and that's where you still have to be careful. They don't put out the moderate risk too often. So when they do, that means that you have already flooded rivers, plus that you're going to have maybe an additional 3 to 5 inches or more of rainfall. So definitely not a good situation over those areas. And here's just to kind of show you, these are all the rivers that are in flood stage over parts of the Southeast and the Tennessee Valley and this entire area. We have 158 river gauges that are in minor flooding stage, so not too big of a deal there, but still, with additional rainfall, those could go into moderate flooding. We have 9 in moderate flooding, and that's mainly centered over Kentucky and some parts of the Southeast, and into 1 river gauge in West Virginia as well, and then in West Virginia and also into parts of the Southeast and South Carolina, we have a few even in major flooding stage. But you can see that they're really set up over and centered over this area in Kentucky, which overnight got some more rainfall, and then you're going to add an additional 3+ inches of rainfall onto that. That's really not going to be too good, and we really hope and pray that you guys are safe over those areas. Here's that rainfall outlook for tomorrow. So we have a 5 to 10% chance, not a huge risk, but still, you want to watch out for that. Definitely, if there is a flooded roadway, kind of turn around, go to a different, go through a different way to get to your location, because it is not worth it to go through those flooded roads. Again, we have a 5 to 10% chance over that area for tomorrow. Here's your high temperatures for today. This is really going to aid into what we're dealing with the severe weather, and you can see that anywhere in the yellow or oranges, that's where you're 70+ degrees, even into the light green, that's where we're 60+ degrees. So you can see it's actually going to be fairly warm over this entire area, over the Southeast and the South Central United States, even a few 80s further south, where the severe weather is going to be. We have temperatures that are well above 65, which is generally the benchmark for some severe weather. So we definitely have warm enough temperatures. Here's what your dew points are going to look like, and I'm going to play through a couple frames. You can see that we have dew points that are all above 60 degrees in dew point, and that's usually the benchmark. 60-degree dew points is usually what you want for some sort of severe weather event. You can see anywhere in the yellow or oranges, that's where you have 60-degree dew points. So definitely no shortage of moisture with this system as well, and you can see that later today into the later parts of the evening today, we're dealing with still some more very, very moist dew points, where we have dew points closer to 65, 66, 67, 68 even degrees over that area that's going to be seeing the severe weather. So definitely we have no shortage of moisture with this event. Here's the forecasted CAPE. So this would be by right around right now, and we have 2,000 plus CAPE in joules per kilogram. CAPE is basically convective available potential energy, which is generally just the amount of energy you have in the atmosphere. You want to be above that 500 threshold to really get into some of that severe weather. Over about 1,500 or 1,000 is where you start to get into the decent, really severe storms, unfortunately. So we do have a lot of energy in the atmosphere, especially over the south central and southeastern United States right now. And then here's by 6 p.m. Central Time today, we have still 1,000 plus anywhere in the green, the yellow, oranges, and we still have 500 plus in that dark blue, which covers much of the Tennessee Valley back through the southeast. And then here's by 12 a.m. Tomorrow morning, and we still have a good amount of CAPE over 500 in a lot of those areas over the southeast. By this point, that line of storms is right around here, so it's going into an area that still has some okay amount of CAPE. So really, we have a lot of energy, we have a lot of moisture with this event that's really fueling this. Another way to gauge how much moisture we have is by looking at the precipitable water, which is basically if you were to squeeze all the moisture out of the atmosphere, all the rainfall out of the atmosphere and the clouds, this is how much you would get. So we're looking at anywhere that's above about 1.5 is where you have, or 1.3 or 1.4 inches. That's where you get into some of the heavier or the more conducive areas for severe weather. And you can see that we have that all across the Tennessee Valley back through here. So we have no shortage of moisture. And just playing this forward a little bit, you can see that we even get some amounts close to 1.8, 1.9, 2 inches. So that's very, very high moisture content for this time of year. So we definitely have a lot of moisture with this event. Here's my forecast for the thunderstorm risk out of this event. General risk anywhere over parts of the Tennessee Valley and the southeast. This is for today and Monday, by the way. So we have a low risk anywhere that's away from the Gulf Coast and then back through into the Tennessee Valley. Here's that medium risk, and that's going to be through parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, a little bit of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas as well. And then we even have a moderate risk there for parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and southern Tennessee. And this is where I think you could get the severe storms. The main flooding risk, if I were to have a flooding map, I would definitely highlight this area right here for the heaviest rainfall and flooding potential, just because of how sustained that rainfall will be over those areas. So I really would appreciate if you guys did leave a like on the video, because I spent a lot of time and effort making this video for you guys. So leave a like, a comment down below if you have any questions or you have any suggestions for topics that you want me to cover. And also please consider subscribing to the channel, because it really helps me grow, and it helps my channel get out to more people, and it helps me share this content with more people as well. So again, that is going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.